Here we are with part two of the offseason. As we go through here, we will end up setting up our schedule for next year, finish recruiting, go through guys developing, and move conferences. Go ahead and start off here and see what we have. Well, Lacey did not commit after the week 3 visit, but he should be coming in.
Another program that I thought we'd be able to take down. They crushed us. So we're looking to keep running. So far,
Charlie Shepard, an insurance policy.
For Brandon Hood, we cut this one outside. We were actually patient for a second there, just waiting to get that block. And with run after run, I figured we'd be able to successfully pull out play action and complete this. Turns out there was no reason to complicate things though. We're not running anywhere. And Cam Walk is my main read on 3rd and 10. We might be able to get Brian Nat open, but Cam Walk
Cincinnati Michigan State have both pulled their scholarships for Jordan Marshall, almost making him a cinch to sign with us.
Just need to finish it off. Now we're watching to see if this is going to be a cover 2 look. We could actually get this out to Brian Nat reaching for the first. And against some of those ranked opponents, we were not ever going to win this battle up front, but I believe we can do that against UConn, which is why we just ran it up to them. Just 6 more yards now. It says that we have the option to throw it, but I don't think we did. I will say I'm pretty uncomfortable with the idea of not being able to see Kenyon Massey over there and just throwing it, hoping our blocks hold up. But it did. He fights in, and we better stop the run right off the rip if we want to get UConn off of the field. We tried to put in some pressure. We could get this interception, but we knocked it out. I was just hoping for a little bit more there. And we're not guarding him. I feel like so far the Huskies are adapting pretty well to our defense. They're literally completing almost every single pass, but it's not a good run. This is where we pressed out of Tampa 2. They're not going to run the football. They're actually just going to go underneath, but the cut up field is going to get UConn the biggest play of the game. Tubbs goes all the way. Nigel Tubbs has been the hardest player on the field to stop, and I thought that guy was going to be Brandon. It's on him to turn this halfback screen into a huge gain to open up the second quarter. He cuts back, he waits on that block, not getting past that defense. But the junior's still putting in some work. They're probably going to bite down, trying to stop the run here. We just are taking this shot down the field to Cam Law.
Jimmy Jackson is close to committing in with David Stone. His offense has been pulled, it seems.
So we're going to throw it to Brian Nat. And his drop has put us in an awful spot. It's 4th and 4. We feel like it's time to just go for it. We are going to have Brandon Hood, fortunately, for the first. But if we didn't convert there,
if there's any Dukes we could possibly bring back.
We're just going to find Cam Lock underneath. And we're about to find out if Connecticut can stop the halfback toss. Our blocks didn't necessarily get there on number 18, but this feels like a spot where we should be able to run the football on 3rd down, or we could hit Ryan Nash.
Carter still remains
I just know that the longer the game goes on for
For 130 years, Junior University has been making education affordable and attainable.
There are actually 2 distinctly different organisms. They're both fungus, and they're both very gross. But mold is more like the mold that grows on your bread or athlete's fungus. And mildew is the black stuff that you tend to see in your shower and in your toilet.
Start your year with Root. Think smarter, sleep deeper, recover faster, and understand your cycle phases. So you can
Ben Hanks at corner remains an option.
And your life is yours.
Plays like this are going to work. Connecticut will adapt. There, they weren't even biting on the tight end. So it's 3rd and 15. Honestly, the worst thing David Lynch could do on this play is just force it. If it's not there, we're going to have to go down. And UConn got the stop that they were looking for. They also almost held us to nothing. Ben Nava just snuck that ball in. We're ready to stop the run. One thing about Nigel Tubbs is he shouldn't be breaking as many tackles as some of the running backs that we've been facing. And this is just another big 3rd and 5. We're watching underneath. They're going to hit us above those zones. It's a good move from number 4. And I'm starting to think we got to just let UConn complete these short passes and wrap up instead. Because every time that we are dropping back into coverage,
Carter's the highest rated Duke in the portal.
That interception, we can end this first half with a lead. Problem is, we still need to turn something upfield, and we got the blockers for this.
He can easily be brought
I
back
feel like with the
also.
bunch set so wide out there, we should be able to hit through him again. If they play this though, we're in trouble. We get him, and eventually UConn will get. We might be able to get off one more big play before they do though, and that's exactly what has happened here. Cam block running underneath it. I'm really loving the season that he's having for us. We're also going to have Kenyon Massey underneath using his speed. He takes off for the first down. So now we can start to run the football. We're in the red zone. We still have 45 seconds to score.
For Jaden's studio, will he end up with the Buckeyes?
But now we let Brandon Hood take it to the outside, juke back for 5, and potentially getting the football on this play as well. Just needs to make the catch, which he does. There is still 15 seconds left. We got 2 timeouts. I didn't think they'd expect us to run it. On a lot of first downs, we've been bringing out play action. We didn't get them there with the pass, and the QB sneak ends the drive. We're going to finish this half up 17-14. That was the perfect ending we were looking for. To start this second half, Brandon Hood getting 20. This is the game he rushed for almost 250 yards in last year, and he still lost. Look at how open Kroom is. Look at how open Kroom is. What is that throw?
Jaden's studio is a Buckeye.
It's starting to bring out some incredible catches. We're declining this, and I'm wondering if he's about to toast that corner again. We might just look back in his direction 2 times in a row. We actually have a touchdown to Massey, but it's not going to get there in time. And it was really hard to tell, but he might have caught that ball off of the deflection, or it hit the ground. We shouldn't really be watching this so much before we challenge it. His feet are going to be out of bounds, but that went into his hands. And when I slow it down, it looks kind of dumb because he's like clenching his hands like he's got the football in them, but he doesn't. Eventually, it just switches straight in there. There's a foot in bounds, but one is also in the line. Although I think I know what the outcome's going to be, I will always take a touchdown if they're willing to give it to us. We'll see if the refs end up being biased. And they didn't, so it's 2nd and 10. We're handing it off. We're
Johnny Shepard, thank you for your services. We're taking you off.
Our pass protection and drop the football. They are recommending that we punt it too, which is why we're just trying to pin UConn at the 5. Maybe we should have picked up.
And we'll try to
5
bring
yards and gone for it on a 4th and
Jackson
6 or
McCarter
so.
back.
Just didn't occur that way. Looks like we're going to have all of that lost. And is UConn going to run the football? They're not. They're going to take a drag underneath. It's going to be start 3, which is where we typically just give up like a 15-yard gain. So we're not playing hard flats this time around. The hit got them short. A 3 and out is a really big deal. You can see that the upper deck of basically this entire stadium is not here.
So right now, our class is 24th.
2 and 9 program. And we're honestly
Bringing enough guys, we can move that up. Let's go ahead and advance.
He's going to go for the first. It was a little bit out there, but I'll take that risk. We're also going to have the immediate crosser to Cam Long. And I think the freshman receiver is just
Bring in Austin Carnegie,
we potentially could have
Tyroot,
but the run was clearly open, which sets us up for
Myron Robinson,
Plant was there. David did not.
Georgia
But he has brought out
Standia,
Charles Jones to do what he does best. Use
Jordan
his speed
Marshall,
to just go
the transfer
to the
from
east,
Michigan,
west sides of the field, easily taking it in. And I know we
Kevin
haven't used
Pitts,
him that
the
much,
3-star
but
running
as he's a
back,
senior, we are going to miss him next year. In scenarios
Colin
like that,
Lacey.
he has a whole other dimension that we're able to pull out once
We're
we
also
get
able to bring in
inside the red
Brandon
zone.
Davis
Honestly, all I'm
Swain,
looking to do on this drive is just prevent UConn from
Nicholas
scoring
Bram,
super quick. We want them to work for it. The more time that runs off
Ben
the clock,
Hanks
the better.
Jr.,
It's going to be a read option that we just
Jackson
adjust
McCarter
to.
returns to the
And that's why
Dukes
we're going to go back to our cover 3 look instead of going in Tampa 2. Another thing
as
I've been
we
looking to
missed
continue
out
is
on the
playing
D
this hard flat
tackles.
underneath. They can keep
It
them
seems.
second guessing. We're going to have a run, and I don't think
Not
we're
what
getting out
we
there to
needed.
make that tackle, but we can prevent the touchdown eventually. Nigel Tubbs has truly been a star. RPO.
Cut out the left tackle Michael Fossey, Jaden Jackson, Michael Whitaker. David Stone locked us out and committed to Cincinnati, and we also lost Jamari Deloach.
But he is just so dangerous once he brings it in, and that is another
Solid improvements that we brought on. Can't be mad at that.
But you know what? We still have a lead. Detroit Jones with a kick return potentially. This could be our first one of the series, and he is gone. That is why I had him back there at returner. We can celebrate our way in. It's very ironic that happened against the Huskies. So we are right back in the position we were just a few minutes ago. If UConn scores, it's okay, but we want this drive to take
Our quarterback room,
and it's going to take one.
not bad.
It's going to take one play. This one one kid has been so hard to hold. Nigel Tubbs is going crazy. It feels like exactly what Brandon Hood went through last season. But you know what? He's looking a little bit tired. So we get to Charles Jones the next carry. It's not going anywhere. He's been hot in this game, so I thought it might. Kenyon Massey is someone we are going to be looking for.
Definitely brought in some help
we could
for
just
guys.
promote it into the hands of Cam Block. The ball was in the air for way too long for me to feel comfortable, but if that's what it takes for David Lynch to help us move the chains, then we're going to work with it. We got to stop running it outside. Say what you want about Brandon Hood. He is not as fast, but his running back vision is just on a whole other level. Looks like he's going to be able to cut this one up for 10. And this might be like the third time we've run this play, but we're going to pull it out. We're going to throw it, and we're going to be able to bring it in and get that first. We have reached the point in the game where we actually got to start chewing some clock because we could end it with a couple more first downs. Connecticut's going to get very aggressive though when it comes to stopping the run. I don't even think we're in field goal range yet, and that's a really big issue. On 3rd and 12, dropping back into a cover 3. It's off target. No, this is not how we lose to the Huskies. We're not even going to be able to catch them with Bryce Broom. We are going to have to march down the field and score a touchdown to win. I have put so much faith into this team. I put so much faith into David Lynch. But he really just sold this game in the worst way possible. This is what happens when you have a 68 overall at quarterback. We're going to just have to let Brandon Hood work. There's no other answer other than that. If we're going to throw the football, it's got to be super short, like we just did to Bryce Broom. And we need another 64 yards to win this game. Brandon Hood wants it more than anybody else. I don't know how he even has anything left in the tank still, but he does. And let's see how prepared they are for our RPO. Cam Block makes the catch. It's actually an incredible play as he cuts upfield, and Cam Block is going to go all the way. The freshman receiver continues to be our best player on this team. The biggest issue we might run into, though, is we still have to get a defensive stop, and we locked him with Humphreys. Humphreys, another freshman making a play. There is absolutely nothing Connecticut can do because they have one timeout left. We just got to run out the clock. You literally could not have asked for a more perfect ending to get our first win over our rival, and that's going to bring the series to UConn only having a 40-39 lead. We could tie things up as soon as next year. Nigel Tubbs still won player of the game, but he deserved it. He went off against us, and now for my favorite part of every season into the offseason, where we get to determine what our team looks like for next year. There are players that are going to come back and players that are going to be gone. Like David Lynch, he's graduated. Nothing we can do about it. Zach Lawrence might decide to transfer too since he got benched. But Brandon Hood, even though he rushed a lot less yards than he did the year prior, 500 yards less basically. He will be returning, though all the guys behind him seem to have a reason that they want to transfer away. As for our receivers, it doesn't surprise me Cam Block was our number one. Naheem Abdul-Rahim Gladden, he just got benched mid-season. I was not happy with the drops he had. Looking back, it might have been a little bit of an overreaction, but ever since we made him wide receiver 4, we've won 3 games, 3 sacks out of Peyton Luttress as well. There's some freshmen making an impact there, but I don't like we only had 4 interceptions all season. We're also going to see what other types of coaches we can bring in here. It seems a little counterintuitive. The fact that we won a few games and they're getting fired doesn't make much sense. But truthfully, we can't have 3 recruiters in the building. It's a waste of resources when we're limited on the prospects we can go after. It's not like a player of our cannon's caliber is ever going to be
Seeing this class, we'll see how the Dukes finish.
Like I said, we weren't even able to close out on the 4-star free safety. And I think what makes things even worse is we lost on a 2-star to Nick Harris.
The Dukes miss out on the top 25 class and finish 36th in the nation. Led by Jordan Marshall, Ruggs, Colin Lacey, Ben Hanks, and Melvin Gore.
We did not get blessed in any way. Their transfer
Ohio State just blew everybody out with 34. Arkansas with a strong class this year with 27 commits, finishing second. Florida State finishes in the top 10. Cincinnati finishes 11.
Cannot say the same.
What a class for the Bearcats.
All he does for us is he's going to make it so we can scout some positions.
Nebraska pulls in Damon Williams Jr. as their quarterback. CJ Carr, LSU.
We got tier 2, so visits are going to have a bigger impact on quarterbacks, halfbacks, tight ends.
Michigan brought in a quarterback, it
That'll
seems.
just continue to get better over time too, but there's a lot of players, even Elijah
Unsure if he'll start.
receiver to corner that want to transfer away. Low overall, so I'm not not too worried about. We just weren't able to convince any of them to return, and we have
Look at
to
some of
say
the
goodbye to
top
some
quarterbacks and where they
impactful
went in
players like
the
David
portal.
Flynn and Charles Jones. I will say though, it's nice that we're not having too much
DJ
roster turnover
Lagway
yet.
signs with
Players that are
SMU.
going to want to transfer next year, or even Montrose that didn't
What a
go to
get
portal
for the
right
Mustangs.
then. So that is something to look out for. We have to go after
Marcel
players
Reed
strictly from our pipeline
does
state,
not
and Elijah
sign.
Newby is one of those. I know he is a beast. I will say
I would
I
have
have
signed
some
him.
very good news whenever it comes to recruiting new quarterbacks as well, because out of the Northeast region, there are actually 4 different freshman 3-star transfers.
Dante Moore
that would be
doesn't
interesting.
sign
We only have
either.
600 hours to work with since our school grades aren't that good, so I
Deuce
don't want to
Knight
spend any hours
leaves
scouting
Auburn
them
and
out, so
signs
I'm
with
gonna put hours on, like,
Tennessee.
5 different QBs. But it's got me all excited because
Anthony
after
Varner
another week,
leaves
we are
Penn State and
guaranteed to
signs
get
with
2 of
Ohio
these guys.
State.
We're going to miss out on Broderick, so maybe we made the wrong decision there. I don't think we made the wrong decision on Puglisi. He could do it. But then it became time to scout just out of curiosity. All of them have 79
Jaden
speed.
Davis
They all
leaves
have about
Michigan
the
for
same throw
South
power,
Carolina.
the same voice. In
Interesting.
week 3, all I really did was just set up visits for all the players that we were in competition for. A lot of these transfers, we don't have any sports fighting us, but for the ones that we do, we get visits set up, we're already in first place, and the commits are going to start
Joshua
coming in. So the
Douglas
players
leaves
that maybe we
us
weren't going to win on, we've
for
already
North
taken them off the
Carolina.
board. Another thing we don't even have to worry about is hard
Hopefully he
selling,
gets to
because
compete
our
for a
school
starting
grades are
job.
not good enough. So we just had to hope that we had the better pipeline.
Wish him
that other
nothing but
schools
the
did have a
best.
good
Is
enough
Arrington
pipeline.
Madden
He was
sounds
competing
with
for that 2-star right
UTSA.
guard, but he's a freshman, so he could make an impact. So could Mitch John. You really just don't have any idea until some of these players get into the building. In total, we had 28 signings in this class, and what I am most excited for is the 2 depth traits on these quarterbacks. It looks like we're going to get normal, and we're going
Harlan
to get
Berry
impact
leaves
on
LSU for
there are things to
Alabama.
look into. Elijah Newby is going to be a star, but I knew that. He's been a good transfer.
Interesting.
He's just
Jordan Lau
Have him
goes
for 1 year.
unsigned
Nick John
after
has normal though, and
leaving
so this
Miami.
freshman gadget receiver that I thought was going to be way better. We still didn't have the hours to scout him, so the stats aren't going to show up there.
Gideon Davis leaves Clemson
He's
for
ranked number
Auburn.
47th in the country. This is lower than what we had last season, but I feel like the quality in it is a little bit better, especially since
Second
we've got other players.
ranked receiver in the class, Terry Shelton leaves Arkansas State for
Both of these
LSU.
2-star athletes care about playing time. They're most likely just going to transfer away because I don't see them getting on the field. Besides that,
Noah Rogers leaves Wake Forest for Georgia, former Buckeye.
The most though is the depth trade upgrade. It's the training results. Turns out the only depth trade upgrade we saw.
Parker
was our
Livingstone
DJ He
leaves
was
Texas for LSU.
He can make for an incredible user as an 84 overall linebacker. And this
Good
team is
class
just a
for
little bit better
LSU.
than the team before them. Brandon Hood, an 87 overall. I'm not sure if he's going to be drafted. Elijah Newby is 86. They're just short of that. But look at the quarterback progression. This is what weirds me out the most. Zach Lawrence doesn't go up anything. Vaughn Meekins just gets 2. Common Egbo gets nothing. And I've already decided since Vaughn is going to be coming in as a freshman using his red shirt from last year, he is 6'4", impact development. He has no caps on his accuracy. This is our quarterback of the future. 91 throw power.
Following the season, Jalen Mbakwe is now a star.
I've noticed there are positions on the team where our future isn't looking as bright. Luckily, Cam Rock has jumped up to an
Dekai's Brinkley is now a star.
And at tight end, Brian Knapp might not have the starting role anymore.
Jet White goes up to star.
He's a junior, so we'll have him for 2 more years like all our other tight ends. His route running could still get so much
Go
better.
through our
He could
training
get
results.
He could also become a better blocker. Just something I'm thinking about, and I was really hoping one of my main users from this season, Darian Humphreys, our free safety, was going to jump up a little bit more in overall, but he only went up +1. His zone coverage is 78, man coverage 77, 89 feet. He still has 3 years left to college, plenty of room to grow. Only 5 players already want to transfer out by the end of next year. And this team is so far from special. It's still going to be so hard to win games next year, facing off against 10 top 25 opponents. But we have made it to a 74 overall. These are all of our best players. And I'm having an absolute blast filming this series so far. It's been a real challenge. I hope you all are enjoying it.
Jordan Marshall is our lead back at a 90. Brian Jackson got up to an 87. Menard jumps up to 78, same overall as McCarter. Mbakwe is an 86, while Jordan Scott goes up to 77. His speed does improve.
So when you bundle our Consumer Reports recommended Treasure mattress with Power Bottle Lead adjustable base with multiple features and hundreds of 5-star reviews, you get more relaxation,
We
more
do pick up
flexibility,
speed
more restful nights, and more
in some
energized
rooms
mornings.
here.
I said.
Fire firing their head coach and having yet another disappointing season, I'm taking over Auburn until we can win a national championship. It is now nearing almost a decade since they won 10 games in a season, but that's not the only challenge we're going to face with the Tigers. Since I'm taking them over where they're currently at in real life, our recruiting board is completely empty in week 11, and I'm also not allowed to do any manual player progression. To pile on, our future star quarterback, Deuce Knight, who Auburn fans are so excited about his star development, well, he's going to want to transfer since he cares about pro potential. And I doubt there's any chance of us keeping him around since Jackson Arnold has shown the NFL scouts aren't going to be calling his name. I have a feeling it's going to be a bad time to go after a quarterback, though, because at this point in the season, in week 11, there's not going to be any prospects available that are going to turn me on, that are going to turn this program around. Or at least I thought D'Angelo Shipman would come in with 90 throw power, 85 speed. He is so solid that he has made one of these guys intimidating. He won't even consider our school because of playing time. So that was a nice little discovery alongside some 4-stars that we're just going to throw some money at, hoping that they come in. I also think it's important to note that the season is not over yet. We're currently 4-5. There is still hope that we make it to a bowl game. I just forced wins to get things accurate. Obviously, the score from Kentucky and Auburn was 10-3. It was embarrassing for both of our teams. But the Tigers decided to give Ashton Daniels a chance, and he also couldn't do much, so we might as well throw out
Patrick
freshman
Miller,
Deuce
we're gonna
Knight and
change
hope
his
that he doesn't
position
transfer
real
away
quick.
after this first season. If we're going to make it
We'll
to a bowl
change
game,
him
we have to win
back.
2 of our final 3 matchups, one of them against an FCS school, the other one after Vanderbilt, the Iron Bowl, against Alabama. So this truly is a must-win game for us in any other season, basically, in the last decade. In the last 2 decades, I would have been pumped up about Vanderbilt. We would have felt like this was a free win. But now Diego Pavia has entered the chat. I have to say, he's not put us in a good position as we enter this 4th quarter. But it's almost a good thing if Deuce Knight isn't incredible, because we know we're probably going to lose him. We just picked up that 4th down. Now we're going to go over the middle. They swat it down. So by the end of this game, we went to Nashville and lost 33-7. This is clearly not the start that we want with Auburn, and I will point out that I believe
The back room has a clear favorite, and it
or
might
whenever
be
you take
Colin
over a team that's
Lacey
not doing well
right
inside
now.
a huge conference like the SEC or the Big Ten. Especially since the SEC is about to move
He
to
looks to
9
be the
conference games a
backup.
year, there will always be so many good teams in our schedule that we're going to have to beat if we ever want to turn around the Tigers. But
Interesting.
how can you forget the FCS opponent that you got to schedule in mid-November just to get that free win at the end of the season? In real life, the Tigers will be taking on Mercer, and we beat them 38-13, which sets us up for our final game. It is going to be the most important one on our schedule every season, the Iron Bowl, where we get to host Alabama. I think what I really need to start looking for in recruiting is
We'll
finding another
advance
player with the name
once
of Chip
more.
Davis. It's not that uncommon of a name. I bet we could snag one. That'll help us. I can just add that to the list of goals I want to achieve in this video. Cam Coleman, up the seam with 3.5 minutes left, is about to put us back up by 3 points against Alabama. And I cannot stress
And
enough
now
how
moving to
important
custom
that play was for us.
conference.
It might not matter, though, with the way Ty Simpson has moved this offense downfield. But we just got to hold strong, force them to only a field goal, and we're going to hit Ty. No, we're going to miss it. We're going to miss it. It's okay, though. Deuce Knight, he has his opportunity to be great here. He's already going to get us like 25 on the ground. And outside of quarterback, I would love if we could always have a really good running back in this video. It just makes sense for Auburn. I'm just not sure how many guys on this roster we're going to be able to maintain at the end of this year. We got that throw out in time. Deuce Knight has actually been incredible for us. He has over 200 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and there is just all this space on the field for us to get out. I honestly cannot believe how good the blocking is, because EA just did a roster update, so this offensive line should be nothing like this. That completion, though, sets us up on the 1-yard line, and we're going to be able to just run it in with Darrell Robinson. So it's looking like the Iron Bowl is going to be ours, though we have to close it out still, a couple seconds left. And I don't think Jordan Hare has been this loud all year. They finally have some life to it. If we happen to lose here, though, it would be the first time the Auburn's lost to Bama on a heartbreaking Hail Mary. They're not even getting close. And I can't believe we've done it, but we've become bowl eligible with the Tigers. I should also point out that Cam Coleman has set the Auburn single-season receiving yards record. So you might be wondering, are we going to be able to keep around the 89 overall sophomore receiver for another year before he goes on to the NFL? And unfortunately, he cares about championship contention. Even if we win a bowl game, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get that up to an A, which is what he requires. So just like Deuce Knight, he is most likely leaving our program. But I've been working to find other faces faces to fill that void, and I feel like for some of these 4 stars, we still have a decent chance. There are bigger programs that are most likely going to take a couple of them away from us. Even on D'Angelo shipment, Tennessee might want. But here's the thing, if we don't end up getting him, we'll just find somebody else from the transfer portal. Even if we didn't do very well in SEC play, I think being a part of the conference alone gives us a great option to get players that we typically would not find if we were in a smaller one. And there it is. We've gotten our first signing. He's from Alabama. He's staying in state, and he's a 3-star center. I really can't be getting that excited about signing a 3-star. Now, you all did tell me on Twitter to go ahead, fire their offensive coordinator. I'd say that makes a lot of sense after only scoring 3 points on Kentucky, but we are going to keep around DJ Durkin. I think as a defensive coordinator, to be a talent developer, this is a very rare archetype that I love, and I want him around. It's also going to be my goal in this video to get talent developer eventually. The hard part about this, to unlock it, is you have to have 2 players drafted in the first round. It's always a challenge, but I believe we'll be able to get there. Dante Moore won the Heisman Trophy with 48 touchdowns. Who are we getting in our bowl game? That is what we're looking forward to. Somehow Charlotte has made it to one. If you want to think about programs that have like no success, it's normally them. I probably need to rebuild them at some point. And I feel like this is a free bowl win for us. I'm actually far more excited, though, about who we could potentially hire to be our offensive coordinator, Mark Ryan. I saw this guy. I saw the talent developer on him, a level 41. If we bring this in as our OC, we're going to be developing players so easily. But we have to wait until we get past the Armed Forces Bowl to find out if he wants to be a part of our team. In an ideal world, this won't be the final time that Deuce Knight steps onto the field for Auburn. But maybe it needs to be. Why are we trailing by 6 points with 5 minutes left? We can't lose to Charlotte. I don't care if it's an Auburn thing to do. I know they've struggled in recent years, but it can't be this bad. Looks like Deuce Knight is going to be able to find Simmons inside the red zone. And Jeremiah Cobb is a player I would love to keep around at running back. He's going to take this carry, but there was a hole. It's frustrating. It's going to make it harder to convert, but I have to face that Cam Coleman is going to be able to toast some of these sorry corners. And maybe we'll hit our bubble here, or we're going to go for a huge handoff to Jeremiah Cobb. Depending on what Charlotte does here, if they're bluffing or not, we might just have our tight end over the middle. It's a bad throw from Deuce, and that puts us on a 4th and 8. There's no way we don't pick this up. I think we're going to have to scramble for it, and I think he's going to have enough. That was not a juke. I have not meant to spin on the last 2 plays, but that's what we've been doing. I'm a little bit rusty. I haven't played this game in over a week now, which is crazy. It's actually been 6 days since I last recorded, since I've moved into this great setup. And in my 3 years now of doing YouTube, that's the longest I've taken off from working ever. I had a wedding to go to this weekend, which weddings are so weird at this age. How is he on his feet? This is Charlotte's quarterback. Anyway, back to what I was saying. It is so weird. I'm 22 now, and I'm seeing people I grew up with have kids, have weddings that I'm attending. Some of my best friends, including roommates from college. Meanwhile, I show up, they're like, what are you up to? Well, I'm playing video games every day. Any new girl in the picture? Nope. Still not found one that I want to take serious, and I just feel like I'm at a completely different stage than others. You know, typically in these videos, when I just ramble on, we start playing really well. I walk in, we don't lose dumb games like this one to Charlotte, which we're about to lose, because they're in field goal range. We need to let them score a touchdown. I would assume that they're currently in field goal range. They're settling for it. Let them get in. Let them
Woods
get in.
kicked off the team for breaking school
To
rules.
score at this point. They found their open receiver, and we are really about to lose to
And
Charlotte.
getting into the rest.
We're going to lose to Charlotte after beating Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Does that
Offseason.
make any sense at all? I can already tell this one's setting up to be a very long rebuild. But maybe we'll be able to work our magic and somehow make it down the field in like the next 20 seconds. Our only option here was to run. And you know what? It might be time. It might be time to just send it to Cam Coleman and hope for the best. Surely he can box this kid one-on-one. It was in his hand. What a frustrating way for that play to go. We're going to have him for a 15-yard in. But this is it. It is Hail Mary or nothing. Are we going to have the luck against the 49ers? I'm an idiot. I just rolled into that hit. Don't bring it up in the comments. Let's not talk about it. If we end up having success in this video and this rebuild anyway, we'll forget about the year where we lost to Charlotte in the bowl game. But it's going to be hard to forget about the fact that we just got rejected with our offensive coordinator opening.
In the ACC now for your James Madison Dukes.
So I think we're going to bring in a strategy.
Come in ranked number 8.
And I just scroll through our season stats real quick. I'm noticing that a lot of our offensive production is not going to be returning next season, which really stinks. Even with our new offensive coordinator, but star dev on Malcolm Simmons, who doesn't want to leave, is a big deal because he can get up to probably like a 90
Rivalry
as long
with
as he doesn't
Delaware.
decide that he'd rather play for a
Middle of the
playoff
year
contender
that we'll
like Texas
keep.
Tech, who won the national championship. He'll be our top receiver in a couple years. And for players leaving, you can see that Kendrick Falk is going to be a first-round pick, so I don't care that he's gone. No chance of convincing him. We could get Eric Singleton back, though. He is a low chance at return. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. We also couldn't convince any of the players we had the best chance of getting to come back to return. Maybe Jeremiah Cobb could, though. This is the running back I wanted to keep. Just no luck there either, though I will say, I don't think I saw Deuce Knight's name in the players transferring list. That means for at least another season, he will be with us, but I don't think we're going to get a quarterback draft. Unless we sign one in the transfer portal, and then they could start over him. That's the only way we keep him around. Nobody interesting wants to come here, though. Do you think I want an Iowa quarterback? Absolutely not, but Ahmad Hardy from Missouri. If we could get him to come to Auburn, that would be the perfect fit for this program. Now, before we get too deep into the transfer portal, I have to go back and look at some of these 4-stars we were targeting. Ohio State got the tight end. They typically feed them decently well. Penn State was also able to get this center over us, but we are out recruiting NC
playoff
State.
team in last year below Kentucky.
That are willing to transfer here potentially. If we got Jakeem White from West Virginia, Dylan Edwards, those would also be studs. Now, after just 2 weeks of the portal, we picked up some surprising signings. D'Angelo Shipman, we got the quarterback to finally commit. I don't think he's a shock. We also got a 4-star high schooler, but Whit Weeks was not one that I was expecting. Somehow, he's wound up on Auburn. I hope Lane Kiffin's daughter enjoys it out here. You can also see why potentially, because we had him on a week 2 visit alongside some safeties and some corners, so they just got a huge complimentary bonus, which really does have a huge effect that's right there. I've also been left with no choice but to go after Kentucky former quarterback Cutter Bowley. He's from Kentucky. We cannot let him go to Louisville. That would disgust me, so we're going heavy in on him. And for some of these running backs, Dylan Edwards is going to be hard to get over Oklahoma State. Jakeem White, we're probably not going to get from Penn State, but it seems like for our top 2, including Ahmad Hardy, nobody else wants him. I have no idea why nobody else wanted him. It's a little bit concerning, but we can overlook anything that might potentially come up if he can help Auburn win some football games. And I can't believe some of the signings we ended up getting in this class. We got 3 of those 4-stars out of high school, even though we started recruiting so late this year. Through the transfer portal as well, we lost out on those running backs. We knew that.
Will be our schedule.
Probably get a tight end, but we got multiple players that are going to help out our defense. And when it comes to depth traits, D'Angelo Shipman is just going to impact development, so we might not use the 3-star quarterback. Josh Cahill, going to start at, so that's great for a receiver. We also got Cutter Bowley. He is impact, but he might be our future for the next couple of seasons at least. Our class finished just inside the top 25, though once we compare that to the rest of the SEC, it's not very good. There is one thing that just hit me though, the fact that we signed offensive coordinator Ricky Rain and his strategist ability has done something incredible for this program. As you can see, he is tier 3. It's called lower the bar. It gives a lower deal breaker threshold for players. It causes them to not want to transfer. And while I was sitting here just looking at our roster, going through position changes, saying our running back room is going to be incredible because it is, I went over to receivers and I saw that Cam Coleman was still on the roster because we have just met his deal breaker with that head coach. There is a very good reason we took him from Old Dominion, made him our offensive coordinator. We're also getting some dev trait upgrades. And as I click into training results, I think this team's going to be pretty good. It's going to be an 86 overall. I think that'll change once we get into the season. We have 6 players above a 90 overall. And if Ahmad Hardy could carry us to a playoff appearance in year 2, that would help us out so much for the rest of this rebuild, or else things are going to keep on going downhill. I mean, this kid is a beast. Have you seen his ability? Platinum shifty, platinum sidestep, platinum 360. It's just extremely exciting stuff. Jackson Arnold has jumped up to our best quarterback. We're still not going to play him. Don't worry, I am not done. And on the receiver side of things,
line is nothing
Cam Coleman only went up by
here.
1 overall. Plus Iverson Hooks, he was this 4-star transfer I was super excited about. He comes in with just normal development, plus he cares about championship contender. He might not be on the team next year, but he could still improve a ton. Since I'd say most of our offensive and defensive line isn't anything to get too excited about, I have to highlight some of the skill players. On defense, Whit Weeks is taking another step forward. I mean, that transfer was just a huge signing for us. I don't know how we're going to do against the rest of the SEC, but most of our best players, another transfer like KJ Bolden, are the reason that we're potentially going to be able to take a step forward in year 2 of this rebuild. I cannot shoot threes for a lot of things, but recruiting is not one of them. He did a pretty good job in building out this roster that we're getting to start off with. So much so that it is ranked number 24 in the country going into this year. But I still believe that I'm going to have to plan for the future because Deuce Knight is 100% going to transfer after this season. His pro potential deal breaker is not changing at all. Cutter Bowley, he didn't come in as a high overall. I can wish that he turns out to be a great quarterback, but I'm not sure if I see that happening. His accuracy could progress a ton. He cares about championship contender. We're going to have a good season if he's going to stick around. Let's just say that he doesn't stick around though. What is going to be our plan at quarterback after that? It is pocket passer, 4-star Jim, Marvin Atwell. We have the tier 5 pipeline. Oregon's the only other team that wants him, so we got an advantage there. He is 91 throw pass power, good accuracy. He's not going to be as fast as I would like. But at the end of the day, you cannot pass up on a gym like that. We have a couple other on our board that we're hopefully going to be able to land as well. Also, 1 5-star, Pierce Sneed. He's a receiver with 85 speed. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I think Taylor Best could help us continue to get good running backs in the future. This is one that we could develop. I know that his acceleration could get crazy in the future. And that's basically the rundown for everything you all need to see before we get into this season. I might as well play this game against Taylor, so we start off right. Since I limit myself to only hopping into 3 games a year in these rebuilds, which forces us to build a good roster that can also win in Sim, I might regret that decision. But when you get a dude like Ahmed Hardy on your team, you want to play with him, and he's going to get into the end zone. I think he is set to have a huge season for the Tigers. And truthfully, our entire offense had a really, really good game. Defense has been the same as well. We held Baylor to just 14 points in this one. They're trying to make a throw on the run, but we're going to intercept them. And Bolden might be able to return it back for 6 as well. That's what we're getting out of KJ the transfer. You know, this is exactly what Auburn needed to start off this season. And we just have to hope that from this moment, momentum can carry us to the playoffs. Now, I might be setting expectation a little bit too high for us, but I don't care. That is what we're shooting for. And in our next game, we're taking on Southern Miss, so this should be a free win for us. After dropping 52 on their head with over 500 total yards of offense, that's exactly what we thought we were going to get. So Deuce Knight throwing 3 interceptions. I didn't think that was what his stat line was going to turn out to be. Ahmad Hardy had almost 200 rushing yards. It is clear that we are much better on the ground, and our schedule only gets harder from this moment because we play in the SEC, because we also have Miami on here. Since I forgot to change up the schedule and make it 9 conference games, I put a harder game on the schedule. It is definitely not going to be a fun season for us, and we have to sim some of these matchups. As for recruiting, I'm just going to have to lock in and start guessing some of these hard sells if we want to win battles for these players. But here's the thing, if there's 2 options for what it could be, we're better off just stop selling and waiting a week to decide where we need to hard sell. Well, at least I thought that was a good strategy. It's what we did on Juan Willingham the week before, but then I saw that we missed 2 of his motivations here, which caused a massive loss versus what Miami got. And the only way that we can catch up in a battle like that now is scheduling for a visit and winning the game. I think what I ended up doing was just having Willingham on a bye-week visit, but he's still committed to Miami, even though we tried to come back. But honestly, I think the fact that we gave up 591 yards of total offense the week before to Tennessee was another reason he was a bit deterred. Another thing about the 4-star Jim is he was from Florida, so he probably just wanted to stay in the state. For the rest of the prospects though, including Sneed, it looks like we might get the 5-star receiver. It's also looking like we should be able to get Marvin Atwell. But for some of the other big prospects on our board, I scheduled them for a visit in week 5 against Ole Miss. They're number 12 in the country. We get to host them. So we already have to hop into our second game of the season. And one thing I really don't like about using Auburn in any rebuild is the fact that their jersey options are so boring. Like, even if we're at home, I'm probably just going to throw us in white jerseys and let the other teams spice it up with whatever combos they have available. And you see the position we're sitting in with 2.5 minutes left on the clock. We are currently trailing by 3 points. If you want to know how we got here, Deuce Knight has thrown 2 interceptions, but we still have an opportunity to score. I mean, he does have 91 speed, so I was going to come out and run a read option, but Cam Coleman is getting pressed. So we are actually going to take our shot deep, or it's safe to stick with him. We could have had the corner. Now I'm not sure how to feel about this 4th down play call. We just got to send it up the middle. Our blocks are there. That's what we wanted. But we are pretty quickly running out of time, and we tried to mix in play action to take advantage of a huge play that we're going to get around the defense on. Howard all the way in. I can't believe it just worked, but the lights are flashing. We got the checkered crowd for this game. And for the first time in my YouTube career, I am no longer living in an apartment, so filming here at midnight. I no longer care if I'm waking up a family that lives upstairs or anything. Now, we can't be giving up plays like this. If we continue to do that, Ole Miss literally might just get into the end zone within a few plays. We have some match coverage. There's a flag. It's holding. It's just got to be holding. They're showing an Ole Miss offensive lineman. You know what call is coming. And here's the thing. I can set the scene a little bit more for this night game as well. I don't think the light turned out as well as I was hoping it would. I might decide to put in some behind me on the shelves in the future, but for now, that's the LED we have, and we get a pick with them on. It is going to turn into our good luck charm in the future, repping this Auburn Navy. And I told you all, this was a big game. We had 4 stars on visit. So as we load into
That
the
is
next
what
week,
we
I think
will
we're gonna
go
start to see our
with.
first commit. Just like that, Suma Tatua. I can never pronounce names correctly, but the 4-star Jim on the edge has committed.
Go ahead
Here's
and
my
look
play.
at for next
You just have to
year.
remember to play play him. I'm sure Snead will as well. And it feels like the signings just continue to go on and on. In just 1 week, we were able to get 5 of them. We're also very close to closing out on Marvin Atwell. So our entire board is starting to really come together, though I think Georgia will take a couple prospects away from us. And as I sit here trying to schedule some more visits in the future, it looks like we're going to have to choose between either Mississippi State or South Carolina, both of them not giving us a big bonus. I will say, though, since we've already hopped into 2 games this season, we have to send basically every other game on our schedule. I want to play the one against Alabama, which won't come until the end of the year. And I'm a little bit worried that by the time we get there, things aren't going to be looking as great, but at least we have our future signing at QB. It turns out we've lost 2 games straight, 1 to Miami and 1 to USC, 52-7. So I am not happy about that, though I just realized we have not spent any of our coach points so far. We have 190 to spend. And what that means is we're going to get tier 3 in motivator for everything. All of our positions are going to get an off-season training boost. In the future, if we also just purchase recruiter now, we're going to have to spend at least another 30 points here, but we are one step closer to getting talent developer. We still need to have 1 more first-round pick before this even becomes possible. And surely we're going to be able to bounce back and fix our season whenever Mississippi State comes to town. I mean, just off of the fact that multiple players that we're visiting that week have committed, it's a good sign. And it looks like we have improved to 4-3, but there's still about 10 to 15 players that want to transfer away from the Tigers. I feel like whenever our offense is clicking the way that it did against the Bulldogs, putting up 45 points, that is when we are at our best, where we have our chance to really just go out and annihilate teams. And there's still 5 games left on the schedule. We are still only at 1 conference spot, so there's a lot of the year left. The problem is, if you look at our schedule, every team on it is ranked besides 1. As an SEC team, we just have a lot of games coming up that are most likely not going to go in our favor. And it sure does not help that we just lost by 1 point on the road at number 6 Texas. I think to bring up my mood, though, I need to show off another feature of my new office. Here we go. And it's honestly my favorite part. Instead of just sitting at a desk all day, I'm now at least able to stand, which hopefully will help me out a little bit health-wise. I kind of realized that sitting in a chair for like 12 hours a day just playing video games can't be too healthy for me, especially since I was so active back in high school. So that was my idea behind this part of the setup. But what am I supposed to do with this Auburn team when we're losing to South Carolina, like the bottom feeder of the SEC? Losing to Florida, not a good loss. We also have to go on the road to LSU and number 9 Alabama to end the season. It's just completely collapsing. Everything that was going so well for us is falling apart. We're now 2-4 in SEC play. If we lose 1 more game, we're not going to be bowl eligible. And I have to see what that means for this recruiting class first. Are we going to see any commitments that flip? I assumed we were probably going to lose the battle to Georgia on Duck. It's okay. We still got an edge to commit to our school. They also were able to take away this free safety, this halfback doesn't want anything to do with us, but maybe I should have been paying a little bit more attention. We did not hard sell him, and he is now in his top 3, which means we should have hard sold on him like 4 weeks ago. Just to keep our bowl hopes alive, we are hopping in against the Tigers. We have to prove that we are the better Tigers, even though they're a 94 overall, even though we have to play at Death Valley. And it is going to be a night game for us. This is going to be a battle. I have never played this game standing up before. This has been a little weird for us, but eventually we're figuring it out. Juice Knight ties things up at 13, and I think there's still about 3 minutes left, so we could get a stop and get the ball back. We might actually do that right here. It's 3rd and 10 already. Force a 3 now. We're going to pass commit. There was a guy over there in the flat. I'm not forgetting about him. We're going to get out there with Whit Weeks and make the tackle. So those bowl hopes continue to stay alive. The punt isn't even going that far. We could easily get in the field goal range, especially if we got a good return. Stadium Pulse, for having the number 1 place to play in the country, is doing absolutely nothing. That is a huge surprise. And do you really think they're going to be able to stop Hardy in these short yard situations? Because I sure don't. He is out of there. I will say, one thing I like about being on my feet is I'm able to bounce around. I'm able to get into this even more. And I'm honestly just glad that everything ended up coming together. This has been a process over the last couple of months. I'm sure these pictures are going to end up covering me up, but this is what the room looked like before everything was done to it, and after the final rebuild, it all came together. Definitely a unique learning experience there. Stuff went wrong, but I can never turn down a good rebuild. And are we in the end zone? No. It's about to be 3rd and goal. A Stadium Pulse is actually kicking in here, which is not good news. We're going to keep it with Deuce Knight, though, and unfortunately, we have given LSU an opportunity to tie things up. They got Brendan Thorsby at quarterback, but they handed it off to Caden Durham. I don't really understand that. With only 25 seconds left on the clock now, they're taking their sweet time. And here we go. It's 3rd and 4. We're stuck on the defensive line. They threaded the needle. They're just going to spike it and take a field goal. We're not even going to get our chance to send in a blitz. We got to go to overtime. I feel like we're doing quite a bit just trying to make it to bowl eligibility, especially since Bama will probably beat us. But here's the thing. We didn't expect to become bowl eligible last year, and we still did. So we are going to fight for it again. Oh no. Oh no. Do not let him get in the field goal range. Do not let him get in the field goal range. Oh no. This is bad. This is really bad. I didn't even take a timeout to ice him. We lost the game. We lost the game off of that. You know what? If Deuce Knight wants to transfer out, he is welcome to leave after that throw. I genuinely just want to collapse and lay down on this carpet after that. I don't even know what to say. Of course, we're going to end up losing to the Crimson Tide. So we finished this season 4-8. This is so much worse than year one. And to end this season, we lost a couple more recruiting battles. This is exactly why I don't like rebuilding schools in these big conferences, because it is so difficult to end up getting over that original hump. I mean, our school grades are great. We were able to find a pretty good class so far. Once we do it, it'll be a lot easier to continue building on our success. But then again, there's a lot of tough teams on our schedule. And I can't even fire either of these coordinators because we still want a talent developer, and we need to keep around the strategist if we want less players to transfer. If we take a look at the SEC standings, there are 6 teams that could potentially make it to the college football playoffs. That's how good of a year the conference has had. And it turns out 6 did get in. The national championship went to Ohio State, though. They were able to take it home. And for some of our season stat leaders, Deuce Knight, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He is 100% transferring, so it won't really matter much. Ahmad Hardy is going to graduate or go on to the NFL. Definitely the NFL. It's crazy to me that he is a 99 overall, and he is just a junior. He didn't even redshirt. Then on the receiving side of things, Perry Thompson's going to want to leave because of championship contenders, so he's gone. Preston Howard, our tight end, is going to graduate. It looks like Malcolm Simmons will be sticking around, though. I told you, he should be a top receiver for us next year. And as we sit here looking at all the players that are leaving, we got multiple projected first-round picks. The transfer portal did us very well. They just didn't perform on the field since we finished 4-8. I can sit here trying to convince some of our quarterbacks to return, but Cutter Bowley wants nothing to do with the program. Deuce Knight wants nothing to do with the program. Jackson Arnold is going to want nothing to do with the program. I guess nobody's going to return to Auburn. I have no idea what this team is going to look like next season. On the bright side, our team prestige only fell to 3.5 stars, so we're still really far up there. We're going to have plenty of hours to spend in the portal. And with 92 coach points to spend, all we need to do is go down recruiter for, I think, 30, and we'll be good. What I have done is fully focus on defensive backs. That's just going to get us 30 to spend there. And now talent developer is available to purchase for 15. We still have a decent amount to spend, 45. And so at least for now, I'd like our offensive line to develop. That's going to help us continue to run the ball effectively. But we had a horrible season running the ball, even with a great running back. At least what I'll be able to say is there had to be some good high school prospects that helped take us to another level. And it's not like Speed, the 5-star receiver, is going to have a great depth trait. We're going to get impact on Taylor Vest as well. But we got elite depth, not only on the edge that we recruited, but also on Marvin Atwell, our quarterback. And if you think I'm done, I'm done. Now, for a few offensive linemen, it looks like they didn't get great depth traits. But for both of these cornerbacks, we have elite depth. I don't think I've ever gotten 4 elite depth players in one class. It has got to be a channel record. If it's not, I would be extremely surprised.
We will advance to next week.
Interested in coming to Auburn because our pro potential there is so high. We could even snag Alabama's running back, A.K. Deer. And off the little bit of scouting that I have done on him, he is 95 speed, 98 acceleration. We are going to send the house on this.
Here we go. We're now in week 0 of year 3. Let's go ahead and look at our depth chart.
I still want A.K. Deer over him. We scheduled him for a week 4 visit. And I spent the last week trying to figure out what his hard sell was going to be, which is very helpful because with this visit,
Breaker, the backup once more.
I think Deer is going to sign with us. As I look back on it, I think back on it, maybe we should have focused on other guys outside of him.
Marshall becomes the guy in the room.
At least for the next 2 seasons. And Chauncey Bowens is another 4-star running back.
We have Brian Jackson and Terrell Minner.
Always going to bless us with good running backs. Speaking of good running backs, I signed
Barkley remains receiver 1.
Wide receiver. I also tried to get Cutter Bowley back.
Oh, Travis Smith is receiver 2. Jordan Scott, receiver 3.
Somebody like Marvin Atwell, but I want to start as a true freshman. And for the couple other battles that
honestly,
we lost, like Tennessee on a tight end for the 2nd year in a row, I'm okay with it. A.K. Deer's depth trait
I kind of like this.
Which is plenty for him to develop into a monster. With our 27
big body receiver at receiver 1.
Inside the top 13. I think considering the fact that we just went 4-8, that's not bad at all, though this team on paper, unless training results just goes really well for us, is not looking that good. And even Marvin Atwell is only coming in as a 74 overall. Since he's a freshman,
I like what we have there.
Training results, we're going to have
go through look at red shirts.
91, A.K. Deer gets up to an 88. And let's see, what are his skill caps looking like? He could potentially declare for the draft after this year. I don't think he
Redshirt
will.
Phillip
He can't get any
Cheeseman.
faster, but he could get a little bit more elusive. He also is platinum shifty. And on the receiving front, it is a good thing that Eric Smith and Jerome Bettis Jr. took
Kevin
the jumps forward that
Pitts,
they did, or else our
redshirt.
receiving core was going to have some struggle. I will say, though, with the regression that we have faced, even cutting to 62 overall, trying to bring up our team overall, I think we're going to be at a worse overall than last year. And I'm not forgetting to do it 2 times in a row. We are about to make the SEC 9 conference games instead of 8, which makes every year even harder. I mean, if you just look at the top 9 in the country, our conference has 6 of them. It's safe to say we're not going to be projected to be in the top 25 this year. It's saying that we're at 92 overall, though. So who knows what that means for the season. D'Angelo Shipman, the kid that had impact development at quarterback, his accuracy is uncapped, but we're still not going to start him. As good as he could potentially be, he doesn't have elite dev like Marvin Atwell does. The pocket passing quarterback also has uncapped accuracy, and his quickness is, so maybe he'll get a little bit faster too. When it comes to his physical abilities, those still have to unlock over time, but I feel like having stuff like field general as a gold is very rare to find on a quarterback. And now that we have him, I'll probably still go after like 1 quarterback a year just so we can continue to increase our depth at that position, but we can lock in and focus on other ones that we want to improve. I think I made it pretty clear that our offensive line getting better so our running backs can have bigger holes to run through was a key part of this rebuild. So getting a 4-star gym on there, that's exciting. Jalen Brown, a 5-star power rusher athlete. We could put him at a ton of different positions. I'd say those are 2 of the main highlights in this class. We have a couple other players that I'd like to get as well, like a cornerback. There's another tackle I'd really want. But ultimately, like half of our board is going to turn into 4-stars that aren't wanted by any other school. And I think if we could sign like 15 of those 17 guys, we'd have a really good foundation before we get to the transfer portal. When it comes to how we're going to start this season, we played Missouri State in an FCS school, so I was expecting to know. We also have Mississippi State and Vanderbilt coming up. So before we go on the road at number 2 Tennessee, we might be seeing 4 now.
Go ahead and go through our
As many
recruiting.
games as we were able to win the entire season last year, but it could happen. I guess there's always the possibility that we drop this one as well, though. How are we letting the Bulldogs hang 52 on our head? We're supposed to always have a good defense here at Auburn. We had Marvin Atwell playing well in this game, but not as well as what their offense was able to do against ours. I don't even want to go into recruiting. Just seeing that result has frustrated me, but before we send this one, we probably need to check it out. I've been switching these guys over to hard sells. We have to make sure that we actually guess correctly. If we didn't, we have to change things up fast. Maybe on Jalen Brown, we're going to have to go somewhere different. We can no longer send the house on the 5-star, but I think there's only one thing that's going to be available, which makes it easy on us. If we continue to perform poorly on the field, though, you're going to see more and more of these deal breakers, which means we can't get Max Warner, who would be amazing. I want Warner. If you know anything about athlete thumpers in this game, they make for the best linebackers available. It's not even close either. How have we picked up another loss? Vanderbilt takes us down, so 2 of those wins that I thought were going to be pretty easy for us, we just couldn't come by. The rest of this year's outlook just changed a lot. But at least we still have an opportunity to go into Tennessee, beat the number 1 team in the country, and maybe change how the rest of this year plays out. If we pull this off, it's going to be big. And with the pressure on us for this game, we got to lock in. I will say, so far, Marvin Atwell has not been too terrible. It's 14-14 as we approach halftime. We're looking to get a little bit more. Before the end of the half, though, we take our check down. And I just realized we had no timeouts left. We're going to have to get off a quick pass or something so we can kick a field goal here. Awful clock management. Hike the ball and throw this away as soon as possible. How far is intentional grounding going to back us up here? It's just going to take us to halftime because of the 10-second runoff. That's even worse. I completely forgot about the 10-second runoff. It is those 3 points that are going to come back to bite us as well because we are in a tie game with 2.5 minutes left. And that was put us in front. It's just so frustrating whenever you have moments like that happen consistently. And additionally, AKB is injured. We don't know when he's going to return. I mean, we have like 4 running backs that we can lean on, lots of 85 plus overalls on this team, but I really wanted the 95 speedster out there. And that stadium pulse might end up getting to our true freshman. I was hoping with field general as an ability he'd be a bit more composed. Probably should have just kept things on the ground though. It's going to be 3rd and 1, no instant sheds. There's not a hold to take. I mean, we have no choice but to punt it back to them. We can't go for it in this situation. We would be setting them up to win if we're not able to pick it up. And can you imagine if they hit us with a penalty there for hitting the kicker? There's way too much time here. Can we get back to that ball? Come on. No, there is just no way that Kenny Minchie dials up a throw like that. He gets out the quick one, and I'm expecting them to just run the ball since they're in field goal range, but they hit us with an RPO.
That will go on.
It almost felt like they didn't want to.
Let's go ahead and look at the Heisman race in top 25.
About to leave a true freshman quarterback with less than a minute on
Ohio
the clock.
State ranked 1, Florida State 2, Georgia Tech 3, Nebraska 4, UCLA 5, A&M 6, Kentucky 7, James Madison 8, Indiana 9, Cincinnati 10, SMU 11, Illinois 12, Tennessee 13, Michigan State 14, Houston 15, Arkansas 16, Auburn 17, Penn State 18, Wisconsin 19, South Carolina 20, Duke 21, Texas Tech 22, LSU 23, Oklahoma 24, and Syracuse 25.
No, we throw it straight to number 43. Straight. I really didn't think he was going to make a play on that ball there. We had the leverage. And if you want to blame anybody for losing this game, I think this is one where I
Heisman
can't
race
take
is
that blame.
Sam Levitt in first, DJ Lagway second, DeCorian Moore in third, Kalik Lockett fourth, and Nathan Leacock from Syracuse fifth.
I mean, on the bright side, at least not many guys want to transfer at the moment.
And we will call that the end of week 0. When we come back, we will have episode 1 of year 3 of the James Madison Dukes dynasty, as they will kick off their season against Kentucky, a playoff team from last year.